Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in. Check out your boy, P Funk, thinking right out here in the line. Where I do what I do for you. You already know. I got a good one for you today. Let's ride. Right as the 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. Message and story for life. I give life lessons. You tune in to receiving them. You got a good thing going. Let's ride. I appreciate you. Right thinking mission. And yeah, I'm on it. You give me reason to. Is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Get to know yourself a little bit better from the inside. Right thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. That's my mission as the right thinker master, is to get all my right thinkers to do just that. Know yourself. So this is why I give you what I give you. All you gotta do is use it. I see you doing that. I appreciate you. Let's rock. To know thyself means get information, practice the information, improve if the information that you receive works for you or not. That's what I do. Let's rock. Know thyself is the question you got to have an answer to for yourself. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. They don't know that. So you disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not. It's simple. You teach them I love you. That's why I do what I do for you. Stay tuned. I got you covered. Don't worry about it. The person who knows not and believe that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock. My job is to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons, they reside in you. Right thinking, know thyself. And to my eye, be true. This is one of them redundant or oxymoron or rhetorical questions. Right thinkers, let's talk about being conscious of being conscious is enlightenment. What are you talking about now? I'm about to ready to you. Let's go. When you become spiritually enlightened, that means you know God for yourself. You have knowledge of God, so you know Him. And you become what? Conscious of what? Your higher self, aka you know thyself. Thyself is the higher conscious self. When you make that connection, now you're conscious of being conscious, so to speak. Knowing thyself makes you conscious of being conscious. How about that? You can believe you're conscious. Most of y'all do. But when you become conscious of being conscious, no, you're right there. That's right. Now, if you only ego conscious, a lot of people are satisfied with that. And it'll get you through, trust me. But you don't know your what? Higher consciousness. So you're not really conscious of being conscious. Now, your higher self, knowing thyself, is being conscious of being conscious, aka know thyself. That knowledge that you have, that you gain from experience, from studying, from putting it into action, employing it in your daily life, and you'll become conscious of a few things. When it's third eye open, now you're conscious of being conscious. You know thyself. That's why the six chakras go up to the third eye. The seventh is the crowning of you being conscious of being conscious. Booyah. I hope you understand that. I know some of y'all will, but let's go. You have two conscious again, being spiritual and human being, aka you got. I showed you the body with two heads. This one's Haru, that one's Set. They occupy the same body. This is why you never get away from the devil. You never escape your ego. You just have to control it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't kill it. Don't destroy it. No, no. It's about putting it under your command. That's all. And he's the best fighter you're going to have. That phrase, it ain't the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fighting dog. Set is the biggest dog you can have, okay? He's what can get you through the life. It's another lesson. But yeah, you have to understand, Set is the ego. He ain't the adversary. He's just the ego. He's who you identify yourself with. He just knows what he knows. If he's controlled, he'll still do what he needs to do for you. That's my point. You have an evil chaos. That's Apophis. That's the big serpent. The bad snake. We got one of them too. But he's Ra's arch enemy. Another lesson. But yeah, everybody has opposite. Even Ra. When you gain spiritual knowledge, you become God conscious, aka reach the Neha state, the highest spiritual state of being you can have. We call it Nihas. Hindus called it Mahdi. The Indians call it Mahdi. The Hindus call it Avan. All these names, but all the same thing. The Tao call it the way. The Tao, the way of the Tao, whatever. But it's all meaning the same thing. So once you get your concept and understanding of it, you can employ it. You can use it. Everybody else is. That's all they're doing. They putting it so they can understand it and use it for themselves. They're doing pretty good with it. They took the chakras and made a whole lifestyle of it. When I became conscious of my consciousness, that's when I knew who I was. That's when I knew I was one with my higher self. We was connected here and here. That's why I keep telling you, mental and spiritual have to go together. That's our yin and yang spiritually. Can't have one without the other. Simple as that. They work together. Now, conceptually, this should have been a title. You know, I told y'all a long time ago, we living in the matrix, aka God's consciousness. God's asleep. We just all parts of his dream. And long as we do what we do, it's fine. When he decides to wake up, they said when Shiva wakes up, no world is born. So long as he sleep, we good. The Gullivers travel. Long as the big giant is asleep, everything is cool. But when he wake up, things are going to change conceptually. But yeah, we are living in the matrix. That's why that movie was so important. And if you start to pay attention, if you're a Star Wars fan, if you get philosophical concepts and everybody talk about the force, that's us. That's the spirit. The spirit is the force. God is the engineer. We just plugged into him. Yeah, when you're living, you plugged in. When the body ceases to exist, okay, like a battery. We're only good to God if we're in the flesh. Spiritually, we got to go find a body so you can plug in again. That's basic talk, but that's the concept, and that's where we got it from. All right, let me get back to this. I'm sorry, I'm babbling now. All right, that's why I need my structure. I take it somewhere else. All right, sorry about that. We living in matrix, aka God's consciousness. I told you we're living in God's subconscious mind. Every spirit is part of his mind, like a dream world. You go into a dream world, everybody you bring into it, you bringing them in there. They're not there. You're bringing them there. God's playing, my man Alan Watts, he said God's playing peekaboo with himself like a baby, surprising himself for the first time. If you knew all, if you conscious of everything, wouldn't that get kind of boring? So you want some excitement, so you plug into different ideas and see what's going on, test driving your creation, so to speak. And that's the fun part about knowing conceptually, I'm God in the flesh. That carries a little cachet with it if you understand the concept. That's why. Back again, I go again. We all have a chance to watch this to become what? Conscious of who we are. And when when the spirit knows itself, that's the connection. That's conscious. That's the mind and the heart making that connection, heart mind coherence. Everybody starting to come around. They call it different stuff, but they got to come and see me anyway. I'll be right here waiting for y'all. When you put this and this together, you got something working. And when this is conscious of this, And this is connected to this, you good to go. Why? Because you got both things covered, conscious and emotion. Emotions are good servants, bad leaders. So you need conscious. Why? That's when you let your conscious be your guide. Okay, understand that. To be ignorant of your higher self, unconscious, God, you are unconscious, aka that's what's meant by lack of knowledge. Not knowing yourself is lack of knowledge. But I haven't heard nobody put it that way. I haven't heard many sermons, but ain't nobody talking about the concept of what they mean by when my people be destroyed by lack of knowledge. I keep telling you all the time, if you don't know yourself, you are destined to be enslaved. You're destined to be controlled, manipulated, used, and most likely abused. Sorry about that. We are not our bodies. We're not physical. We're not human beings. We're spiritual beings having a human experience. But we are what and who we think and believe we are. Right thinkers know themselves. Believers, they believe in what somebody tell them. Next lesson. Next time. Right thinking philosophy. What it do? It helps you what? Become conscious of your higher self. Become God conscious is to know thyself. That's where I want all my right thinkers to achieve. Why? That way you're free of the nonsense and you can be your best self and live your life on your terms. If you'd have told me I'd be doing what I'm doing now 20 years ago, I'd told you, be crazy as all get up. I'm gonna be doing so, I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna be doing that. So a lot of us don't plan what's really gonna happen. So it's better to just be conscious and live your life and be your best self. Then you can enjoy it. Don't be a doer, okay? Be a non-doer. I'll give that lesson next time. But let's go. Spiritual. Okay, here. Spirit is life. It means breath. That's why you do the breath of life in man. Man with no spirit is just a big lump of nothing. Okay, that's why they put it in the ground. It dissolves back into the earth. They tell you, man, body to earth, spirit to heaven. But the spirit, they don't tell you, an unenlightened spirit ain't going to heaven. Okay? No, no, no. That's the caveat with that one. So please understand. That's why I try to give you spiritual enlightenment. You need to become conscious. Okay, let's go. Spirit is the breath, life. Consciousness is the thought. Free will, consciousness, choice, maya. That's what every human being has. Spiritual enlightenment, watch this, is you defeating who? Your ego. There you go. Your lower self, aka set. By becoming conscious of your higher self and adhering to that. Let your conscience be your guide. But if you're going by your own understanding, they say that's not good. That's the Bible says, lean not on your own understanding. Go for your higher consciousness. That's Haru, the hero in you. Now, breathing. I watched the show a whole hour just on how to breathe. We think I can breathe, you just go in and out. I breathe. Oh, again, au contraire, mon frère. That's part of my yoga class coming up. I'll get to that later. But yeah, breathing is also an important part of you when you're meditating properly. The air that you airflow intake and outtake, the way you do it, also frees up that consciousness and spirit where you become lighter. Okay, that's with the breath. Now, meditating is a very important and good way to what? Raise your consciousness. Daily practice of meditating will help you immensely. It'll get you connected, more connected, plus you're communing with what? Your higher self. When we're praying, it's okay. I pray and get out of the way. That's my conversation. I meditate a lot longer than I pray. Why? Because he's talking. When I'm praying, I ain't got a whole bunch to say. Say it and get out the way. And then I listen. That's what I meditate for. To hear my higher conscious talk to me. My spirit has a say in my thinking process. I'm always concerned about that's called being God conscious. See, when your heart felt, that's God. God dwells in the heart of man. So the conscious is man. This is why at the judgment day, they could care less about the brain. Throw it away. Why? It don't mean nothing. We need the heart. Why? That's what God's resting place, that He gonna tell the truth. That's why Judgment Day. Please don't deny me, heart. Don't deny the heart gonna tell the truth. Trust me. So that's the good way to raise your consciousness. You can practice every day. Now, next one. My spirit has a part of my thinking process. The heart and mind, when they work as one, you're conscious of being conscious now. You ain't working on just one cylinder. You're working on both. They combined as one, but they acting as one. It's two things working as one. That's a beautiful thing. That's alchemy. Putting two things together to make it work as one. That's spiritual enlightenment. Now your emotions, again, here we go. Emotions, feelings. Women, understand this. If all you're concerned about is how you feel, you're never going to reach the state of enlightenment, because you're always going to be depressed. You're always going to be disappointed. You're always going to be let down. Why? If your expectations is to satisfy your feelings, emotions, it's always going to be misled. Trust me. So they're good servants, bad leaders. Like the ego. He's the worst leader ever. Good servant, best leader, best servant ever, worst leader. So get the concept, okay? Don't be your own worst enemy. Emotions are good servants, but poor leaders. Let your conscience be your guide. Why? Because it's thinking. It's always on the thought process. Being God conscious means I'm keeping God in the mix. I'm always feeling empathy and compassion for whatever circumstance I'm dealing with. A machine can't do that. An ignorant person, spiritually ignorant person, won't do that. So it's the difference. Trust me. Right thinking is us being conscious of our own self. To know thyself, that's what that means. I use my heart mind coherence as one. That's right thinking philosophy. Right thinking is using both sides of your brain, the hemisphere. They said we use one side. So, but you use them both simultaneously. Guess what? Now you got the feelings and you got the mental concept that works together. You don't want just all feelings or mental. Get the concept now. Peanut butter and jelly. One ain't good without the other. Yin and yang. I ain't trying to be just yang. I ain't just trying to be just yang. So some things go together. Okay? Right thinking go together. Okay? Right thinking is having the use of your higher consciousness. When I say higher consciousness, I mean you're using both hemispheres of the brain or the thought process. You're using your whole brain. We only use 10% of our brain capacity, and that's considered high for most people who are pretty much conscious. Less conscious people use less percentage of the brain. So what's that 90% that we just don't care about? That's called the subconscious. That's called the higher conscious, aka the Akashic records. But you have to raise to get there. I'm a thinker. Why? Because it's things that I want to know. Yes, but I do know one thing. If all of the things I can learn, I need to know one thing, myself. And that's the goal of right thinkers. You need to understand and know you, and everything else you can do. Trust me. And to do everything without knowing you don't help you at all. Again, trust me on that one. All right, here you go. I was conscious of everything I've ever done. I was conscious as a drug dealer. I was fully aware of what, how I, whatever. Trust me. So when it came time to pay, I was conscious that this is the dues I got to pay. Willingly. So understand that. If you phrase back in my day, when you can't do the time, don't commit a crime. That means if you ain't about this life, stay on the porch. Only the big, you can't run with the big dogs. Stay on the porch. Why? Because I hear there's some stuff you got to deal with. That's all. So let's just speak vernacular again. Sorry about that. Get back. Let me wrap this up. Oh, whoa, overtime. Here you go. Let me finish this up. Okay, here you go. My right thinking philosophy teaches others to become conscious of themselves, aka becoming conscious of being conscious. If you're ignorant of your higher self, you are what? Unconscious. Become a right thinker and get conscious. And when you're perfected, you become God conscious. Conscious is just getting understanding I need to know something. Now you're conscious, right? Now you start the search of aspiring. They call it aspirants for a reason. You're aspiring to want to be better or to know more important about yourself. That's why I come in at. With spiritual knowledge, watch this. You will be more, you will become more conscious of yourself, aka that's how you know yourself. Enlightenment is what? Learning something that will help you become what? Conscious. You can't believe you're conscious. Sorry. You have to know to become conscious. That's right thinking philosophy. I'm going to get you to know thyself and you will be conscious of being conscious. Last one. When you know yourself, you are conscious. That's right thinking philosophy's goal. Every right thinker should be God conscious. I'm on my job. You on yours? I'll be back. You know I got more. I'm not done.